tunes. He would sing and substitute the boys' names in the song. He wasn't the best player in the world, but he did have some talent, as did his sisters. Our ability to make music comes from the Carvers.
Shoulder up your gun, call out your dog. Shoulder up your gun, call out your dog. Going to the woods, gonna catch a groundhog. Groundhog. Yonder run a whistle pig under that log. Yonder run a whistle pig under that log. Lord have mercy, where the world's my dog. Groundhog. Yonder comes David with a snicker and a grin. Yonder comes David with a snicker and a grin. Groundhog grease all over his chin. Groundhog. Little piece of cornbread laying on the shelf. Little piece of cornbread laying on the shelf. If you want some, better get it yourself. Groundhog. That's enough of that. Who wants to hear a story?
We do!
All right, simmer down. Which one do you want to hear first?
Tell us about Teague Scouts killing the Grimm's brothers, Papa. I never get tired of hearing that.
Well, you sure picked a sad story. My grandpa Joe Camel told me this. And happened up here at the state line where Tennessee and North Carolina runs together, up around Big Creek, Mount Sterling.
Will you take us there sometime, Papa?
Sure, baby. We'll all go up there sometime for a picnic. It's a beautiful place. Well, what I'm about to tell you happened near the end of the Civil War.
Were you a soldier in that war, Papa?
No, baby, I'm not quite that old. But my grandpa, the first Israel Carver, was. Anyway, like I was saying, this happened near the end of the Civil War. In fact, some say Lee had already surrendered to Grant, but word hadn't reached back this far yet. Supposedly, Albert Teague was a scout for the South. Supposedly, him and his men's job was to go around through the mountains, finding men that was hiding out and refusing to fight, and bring them into trial in Waynesville. On this particular day, they come up on Henry and George Grooms and Mitchell Caldwell. They was out working in a corn patch at the time. For some reason, Henry had his fiddle with him. They tell he's a powerful good fiddle player. Give me time, son. I'm trying to get everything straight. Well, they started marching them fellers up toward Cataloochee, but they hardly went anywhere, and then they stopped. Well, old Henry knew what was going on, but Teague and his men was going to kill him right there. So he asked Teague if he could play one tune on his fiddle. Well, Teague obliged him, so Henry took up his bow and string. When he finished, Teague ordered all three of them fellers to stand up against a big old poplar tree. And then they shot Henry and George. Well, they didn't kill all three of them at first because that Caldwell man, well, he's what you'd call simple-minded. Didn't understand what was going on. All this time he kept on smiling and grinning, so much so that it unnerved Teague's men to the point they couldn't bring themselves to kill him. Well, that didn't stop old Teague. He ordered that Caldwell feller to hold his hat over his face, and then they shot him too. Just left their bodies laying there next to the road. Their families had to come along and pick them up for burying.
That's so sad, Papa.
War is sad, baby. That's why we all should do what's right and good in this world, so we'll leave it a better place than we found it.
Well, tell us a happier story, Elder.
Yes, Papa, tell us about Painter Bill.
Painter Bill!
Y'all never get tired of that one, do you? Well, you know how we're always telling you to look out for bears when you're out and about? And that's what you're supposed to do, Carl. You've learned well. Well, years ago, there's all kinds of other critters around here, too. Wolves, elk, painters. Well, the wolves and elk's all gone as far as I know, and the painters is just about gone. Anyway, Uncle Bill Camel, he liked fishing awful good. He'd go every chance he got, and he knew all the best places.
Just like you, Papa.
And you, son. Well, on this particular day, his way up towards White Rock, he caught him a good mess of speckled trout. Come evening time, he set out toward the house. Before long, he got the sense that something or somebody was following him. He never did hear anything, but he could just sense it. Well, he got uneasy and started picking up speed, but he couldn't shake the sense that he was being followed. Well, finally, he just started running, and then he heard something.
What was it, Papa?
Up there on a big old rock was the biggest painter he'd ever seen. That old cat could smell them fish, don't you know? Planned on having him a feast. Well, Uncle Bill thought, what am I going to do? I can't outrun a painter all the way from here to home. And then it came to him. Quick as a flash, he reached into his fish bag, pulled out a big old trout, slung it toward that painter, and took off running. Well, ever so often, he'd take out another trout, throw it back toward that painter, take off running again. And he ran out just as he got back to his house. He threw his pole down, ran inside, grabbed his gun, and came back out on the porch just as that old cat was about to come into the yard. Well, he drew a bead on him, but I reckon Uncle Bill was too excited to aim right. Anyway, he fired, and his bullet grazed that old cat's ear. That painter took off screaming and squalling up the mountainside and was never heard from again. And from that day until now, Uncle Bill's known as
Painter Bill!